Yeah, I'm going to take Mighty Blow and Pierce Armor. And what is its, or is its dexterity score lower than 2?
It is 2.
Okay, clarification on that one, because
you have to have, your dexterity needs to be higher. It is 2. So what's your dexterity?
Okay. My dexterity is 2.
Okay, so you cannot use your pinpoint attack.
Okay, but I still roll that macro because I'm going to use Mighty Blow with Pierce Armor. Eight damage.
Okay. You're using your daggers, correct?
That's a short sword.
Okay. With this, you see Gorm shoot his arrow off and miss. You see Winter scream out and burn this scorpion, but it still comes out. And as you see it grasp onto Winter's body and torso, you in a flood of emotion and need to protect and save Winter, who you realize is at the cusp here of death. You take out your
No, don't stop!
We can. I don't think we can hear her anymore.
Sorry, you cut him out. Sorry.
I'm
How do
waiting.
you want to finish him off?
Okay, missed most of what you said, but that's okay. Do you want me to kill him? Okay. Using my particular style, I will...
Did we lose Barry again?
No, we lost you.
Can you hear me,
I
Zeri?
don't think she can hear us.
Hello? Zeri?
Oh boy.
This is interesting. Well, we at least lost her from roll 20.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to happen.
Sorry, Barry, you don't kill it.
If I don't kill it, then you kind of are stuck.
I can
And
get it on my
dead.
turn.
I'm back.
I'll be able to get it.
Okay.
Sorry, my internet. That's my internet's doing today. This whole month, it just goes off, then it comes back.
Completely understand.
How much did I get off? How much did I say?
You got to the point where you reach out and lunge, and that was it. And then we caught, how did you want to do this? And that's it.
Okay. Restart. So, in a panic of emotion and seeing that on the cusp of death here, you take out your sword. You cut off the claw that's grasping hold of Winter. How do you want to do this?
Alright. In that case, since I've technically cut the claw off, I will revert back to some of the techniques that I know of, the Empire techniques. And in the same motion as cutting the claw off, I will drive my short sword right through the head of the scorpion.
Okay. So yeah, you cut off, and in the same motion, with using the same momentum, you quickly turn the blade so that it's so that you're holding it with the sword pointed down, and you jam it as far as you can into the eye sockets of the scorpion. You watch his beady little eye disappear, and you hear a short "yeah" as your sword slithers on through the green blood and down into the sand, past the body and into the sand. For a moment, the creature sputters and it twists before it eventually collapses and settles.
Oh no, we lost her again. the body collapses, and that was it. Welcome back.
Hello?
Hello.
We hear you. Hello.
I think it's gonna be a long night.
Oh boy.
The interwebs does not
Yeah.
like you tonight.
That's okay.
Okay, quickly. It's dead! Good job!
Yay!
Do something else before I lose connection again. Yes, the scorpion is dead. You have to have a moment to take a breath.
Gorm will move to the side and say, Curiosity, I think she needs a little assistance.
And while Gorm says that, Ari is going to leave his short sword in the scorpion real quick and try to make sure Winter is okay and doesn't have to move. And we'll catch him just in case she faints or whatever. Stay with us, lass. Stay with us. We don't need you falling to the sands yet.
Winter, after a minute or two, you can feel the poison subsiding in your body, but you still are pretty wounded.
Winter just nods at Ari and sits down.
Gorm is going to look for his arrows.
Okay, did you keep track of how many you shot?
I believe I shot 4.
Okay, because we changed the rules. Roll 1d5.
None.
You could not find any. The ones you did find inside the body,
Busted.
one you tried to, yeah, they're busted. You tried to pull them out and they busted. Others are just too covered in gore to either to ever be recoverable. The several of them you shot off into the darkness and you won't be able to find them.
Okay, I go to take a look at Winter. Is she right here where Vinda is flying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Since I can clearly tell that she's in major problems, I will use the cure spell on her.
Nice. Yeah, any part of the remaining poison is purged from your body.
I seem to be outside the walls.
You slipped between a crack in the world, huh?
Hey, I pulled that off once back in the Troglodyte cave.
How much do I get back, Curiosity?
Just cures the poison.
Yeah, just cures the poison.
Okay.
All right. To move things along, because we have got lots of things to get through today. What do you want to do before you leave the cave? Anything?
I just searched back
I'll
here.
also heal Winter.
Okay. Go ahead and make your healing attempt. Gorm, go ahead and make a perception check.
And retrieve my sword.
Can I do perception searching?
Yes.
That is a good roll. I don't know what to use the stunt points on, but whatever it is.
It is a good roll. Unfortunately, it just
Nothing.
tells you that there isn't anything here. You can see remnants of where the creature lived. Lots of different remnants. Make of that what you will. But beyond that, it's just an empty cavern.
No scorpion eggs.
No, nothing like that.
A shame. So I probably want to figure out which are the biggest scorpions, and we should probably figure out how many to take back.
Okay. Just for the sake of brevity, you have 4 scorpion bodies. You can decide to drag them all, drag some of them. We'll just say that you guys pick out. If you decide to take some, we'll just say you guys pick up the biggest ones.
The more we take back, probably the more money or rewards we get, so.
Don't we just need to take back the biggest one?
Can't hurt to take back as many as we can.
Except that someone will have to carry them all.
I'm sure we can beg a cloth off the farmer. I can probably drag one back myself.
Also, is anyone else injured?
As far as I am concerned, Harmony, I'm fine. I'm not injured at all. Keep your eye on Winter, though. Those were several mighty hits, and I want to make sure she continues to live. After all, Winter, we've got to make sure that you get to meet the Empress.
Winter looks a little confused at him, but doesn't say anything.
All right. So with that, we'll say you guys. How do you guys want to take the bodies out?
I'll just pick up one of the 2 that I killed myself, whichever looks to be the cleanest and most skillfully done kill, and leave the others to decide what they want to do with the others.
How can we tell which one of these is the biggest one?
We should probably exclude the charred one.
I guess we'll all have to drag them all side by side and then compare which one is longer.
I imagine for the sake of brevity, we just do that.
So we'll just say you take the time to place you can.
think we've lost Ariana again.
I cast Cure Internet spell.
If only it was effective. Too bad you only have 1d6 to roll.
Alright, back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Welcome back.
Okay. You guys leave the cave. You have the largest body. Moving on.
I also take one of my skillfully killed ones.
Okay, so you have 2 bodies.
Okay, so what time of day is it when we leave the cave?
It is. Hold on. So you guys left at about 10-ish in the morning. So we'll say it's probably a little bit past noon, probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You exit out of the cavern. You come across the fresh desert air with the Sinusta back up. It is quite warm in here, much warmer than it was in the cavern. Arivinda, you're seeing this for the first time. You're seeing a long stretch of desert. You can tell though that you're probably still pretty close to the farmer, as the cavern you're in is still looks to be a part of that jagged wall that you saw coming up into the farmer's room area.
I am glad to be out of the caves.
You all approach. You all travel back once again. It takes you about half hour, 45 minutes to get back to the farmer's. Area. You see them kind of sharpening swords. A couple of them are practicing. You can see them kind of trying to get their bodies back into shape. As well as the farmer, you see him. You see Don Twist pulling some water out of the well and offering it up to Captain Cold Dream as you approach. And he catches your eye and says, good, you're back. Well, and you found your friends. That's great. It's great.
No.
There are some other dead scorpion corpses in there if you want some free meat. Oh, did she drop?
Yes.
Good big.
Now she's Robozeri. When
I have to wonder if that fire burned some internet lines or something.
Can you hear me again?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, now we can.
I swear I'm gonna shoot the router when we're done.
I completely understand.
Alright, what did you hear?
He said
We,
hi, and we're glad, and he's glad we found our friends.
yep.
Yeah, so what did you find? Did you find what was in that cave?
Scorpions and some things you don't want to know.
The good news is that the cave won't be a problem for you anymore. We took care of it.
Oh, good. Glad. I'll, as soon as I get another shipment of explosives, I'll, make sure it's sealed up for good. Hopefully.
You should head down there. There are some more dead scorpion bodies. Free meat.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm not terribly, interested in exploring it at the moment, though. Well, if you took care of it for me, then I guess I owe you all 20 gold.
I think it's pretty obvious to him that we fought something because we've got dead giant scorpions with us.
Oh, yeah, and 2 of you are pretty brutalized.
Yeah, that too. And we're all of us have some wounds on us.
Yes. Some wounds.
Actually, all? I don't know about all.
Well, I mean, I don't have any active damage because all the magic healing, but I've been cut up at least once or twice.
As he says this, Olaf, he comes up to you, Gorm. He pats you on the arm. He says, "So you survived. Glad to see that.
Yes.
Looks like you got some impressive scorpions there. Kinda wish I had not missed it."
Yes, it was a good fight. I killed 2 before they even woke up.
Wow. Would have paid to see that. Well, I've just been keeping the guards company here. They're mostly pretty ready to travel. Farmer said he'd give them some supplies and that they could head their way back to the fort.
Really, Gorm? You defeated 2 of them before everyone woke up? I shall have to see about writing a song about that.
Before the scorpions woke up, they were asleep when I found them.
Yeah, and then the 3rd one woke up, and then I had to shoot it for you.
We all fought that one. Though you did the most.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna go see if I can talk to the captain for a second.
You see the captain. He's currently talking to the farmer, to Farmer Don Twist, and accepting some water from him.
Hey, Captain, can I talk to you for a minute?
He nods the farmer away. Of course. Over here. And he steps over to come into a shaded area, as the rest of you all kind of relax and find places to be.
Yeah, I didn't think it was worth worrying the farmer.
Is there food available? Because
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think Vinda's had breakfast yet.
No, yeah, he's got a nice tray of food inside the house, which you can see from the window.
Yep, she's heading towards that.
Worry the farmer about what?
Well, it wasn't just scorpions down there. We found this shadow soul magic of some sort. There was an obelisk that some cultists had used to open up a rift. Curiosity and myself, our homeland in the Underdark has a rift similar to this. It leads to the Shadow Realm. We closed this one, but this was probably done recently since the farmer hadn't seen anything And the Troglodytes that were here in this cave were from the same clan as ones that were back in Zagahta, also digging up ancient Shadow Soul ruins. So I think the two might be connected. So if there's someone going around awakening these portals, these rifts, I think, well, your superiors back at the fort should know about it, and perhaps even higher up than that.
How do you know? You say this rift is from your homeland?
There's one like it. We were actually up here trying to find a way to close it. There have been demons coming through, and our group has been tasked with protecting our people from it. But it's been getting worse. More monsters have been getting through, so we decided to venture to the overworld looking for a solution. And in the cave there was a djinn, I believe, and
a djinn?
Yeah, he was dead, but his sword.
What's a djinn?
It's a magical. They look kind of like human, I guess, but they have strong connections to magic. I've never actually met a living one in person, but anyway, he had left a message before he died saying to use his sword on the obelisk, and that destroyed it. So this rift is closed, but if there's someone going around trying to do this in other places, we might see more of them cropping up places.
Well, I appreciate you telling me this, but this is very disturbing. The idea that there could be cultists moving about the Dominion territory without us knowing it.
Yes. We believe the one that was in charge of the operation out in Zagahta is a succubus, which, as we've been told, takes the form of a female, but can change her shape to look like anyone, basically, and can manipulate men to do her bidding without them even knowing about it.
You see the captain, he puts his face, he just palms his face and slowly moves his hand down to stroke his beard, and he shakes his head. Oh, this is way above my pay grade.
Yeah, I'm hoping you can deliver a message to someone whose pay grade covers this.
Yeah, no, of course. It's just... I thought this was going to be a simple bandit scare-off, or maybe a creature or two. This is a lot more than I was asking for. All of this.
Well, I'm sorry about what happened to your men, but at least you'll be able to get back to the fort with some useful intelligence.
True. I think to keep us safe, we're going to travel by night and stick to places we know. It's imperative, even now, especially with the information you give us, it's imperative we return home.
Yeah.
Be sure to thank your friend for us. If it wasn't for his magic, I don't think my men and I would be ready to travel so soon.
I will. Oh, also, the message said it was meant for someone who the djinn was working with in Autumn Dream, so I'm going to deliver the message to him, and well, we'll see what they have to say about what's going on. Hopefully they know more than we do.
Autumn Dream? That's in the Oasis. You're going to have to pass the river in order to get there.
Yeah.
Which way are you going? Are you going to go by the Seashine Dock?
Well, I'm not really familiar with the area we come from. Not this continent, so...
I see. Well, let me give you some advice then. From reports we've been hearing from the Seashine and Oceadale region, I'd be careful where you step there. Those two cities are... If they're not out on all-out warfare now, they soon will be. So be careful who you claim allegiance to. If you claim to be an Imperial citizen or a Dominion citizen, you should be alright, but... Well, just be careful.
So
Once you cross it...
That was Seashine and... what was the other one?
Oceadale. Once you pass over the river and into the Oasis, you will be, of course, protected by Dominion law. But it gets a little fuzzier in our protected city-states, especially those two.
Trouble with people who don't want to be in the protected city?
No, not against us. from what I hear, there's something that's broken the normally good relationship between those two cities. And, well, it hasn't quite spilled over to Dominion citizens yet, simply because we're the only military force that keeps patrol over here, but, well, both cities are run by humans, and humans are unpredictable and irrational, and, well, let's just say that that's spilling over into their rulership.
Well, thanks for the advice. Good luck on your travels.
You as well, especially if you're heading up that way.
Looks like you don't really have much of a choice.
Well, thank you very much for all you have done for us. Honor be to you and your family.
And yours.
We'll be leaving in an hour, so if you have anything more to say to me or to my men, please do so soon. Other than that, we'll just be preparing to leave.
Oh, well, I'm trying to remember the name of the there was some cult something. Hey, Curiosity, I'll call over.
Yes?
What was the name of the cult that that statue was in Zagahta?
The Order of the Blood Red Rose?
Ah, yes, thank you. Yeah, that's something to do with all of this, so I don't know if anybody knows anything about that, but I think they were an old cult. Maybe it's reborn or something. We're not sure exactly, but
He frowns at you and nods. Old is an understatement. I would say more like a wives' tale. I didn't really think it was a real thing.
well, we found a statue that beared the symbol that they were digging up for some reason. So, whether
Well, I'll
the
keep
cult
that in
exists, the statue existed.
Maybe our scholars will know something more. History was never really my thing. I only know what I know about the region.
Well, I think that's the only thing I didn't mention.
Well, in any case, I'll thank you for it. Like I said, I'll pass that along with everything else.
Thank you. Okay, now I gotta eat something.
We should head out as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, we don't have that much time to get back for the contest, do we?
No, very little. We will have to keep going as fast as we can. The last night, I think we should march through the night.
Well then, we shall see what we can all do about resting up quickly and then heading out. That contest needs to be won eventually, right? And we're the ones to do it, correct?
Hopefully.
Alright. For the sake of brevity, an hour goes by, and as the captain said, he and his men gather what supplies the farm is able to spare, and they bid you all a farewell, and again, thank you, all of you, for all of your help with them. And then they leave. A few hours later, those of you who talk to the farmer, he gives you 20 gold, as promised, and thanks for helping him with his situation. Gorm, as you went up and talked to him, he not only offered you some blankets, but he also offered to take you guys back home using his cart, as he was low on supplies, and now that the threat has been eliminated, he feels it's safe for him to leave his farm. And once again, he says, the least I can do to thank you all is to ensure you get back in time for your contest. And those scorpions look like they're going to be a hassle to bring back. So I offer you my cart, my camel, and I'll take all of you back on my way to Zagahta, as I have to resupply anyway.
Much appreciated.
We can.
Is there any rule in the contest about that? Allowing such transport?
Not that I recall. And I mean,
Do
there
I
were some
remember
groups that went
anything?
out with carts and things.
Yeah.
There were?
The 4 rules I have recorded down: do not hurt other hunters, no kill stealing, do not cross the bone fields. Any violation will be punished. And that's about it. I don't see anything that says anything about carts.
Okie dokie.
So, we can leave whenever you like. We can leave now when the sun goes down, or we can leave in the morning.
The sooner the better. We don't have long to get back, and it's a long trek. I imagine my character knows better how many days are left and how many days it's been than I do. So I imagine I tell him how many days we have to get back.
He says, well, then how about we leave about 5 o'clock? Help me gather up the supplies, get the camel ready, get the sled ready, and we'll leave. If we leave now, before it gets too dark, even with camping for the night, I should be able to get you back in time.
Gorm nods.
Alright, so you guys help him pack up his 2 cameled wagon, which wagon is kind of a misleading term. It's more like a sand sleigh. You see that there are no wheels on this cart. Instead, it's like almost like a Father Winter sleigh kind of design to it, with the feet being specifically designed to be able to tread through sand quickly. It's actually kind of impressive to those of you who've never seen any such devices. Of course, Vinda and Ari, this is something you've seen before. Winter, you're somewhat familiar. Some of the caravans had this on them, but it's definitely built by someone who's lived here their whole life and has plenty of time to think about these things. And you guys, after you prep your sled, gather your gear, gather what food and supplies you'll need, you begin your trek through the desert back towards Zagahta. You guys travel into the night, and you travel for several hours, pushing it a little bit more as you are seeking to be quick. But eventually, you, at about 9 o'clock at night, your Don Twist, your guide, decides it's time to bed down. And he leads you down a path which is a little unfamiliar to you, especially you, Gorm, who've kept track of your journey this far. You see him lead you toward a different area of the desert. It is almost like a sinkhole in the desert, as it just sort of starts spiraling down. A spiraling path in the center of what seems to just be endless dunes. And before you start to question what's going on, before you can wave a concern, you start noticing that the ground changes, and you hear what sounds like water trickling down into a pool.
Would I know of this particular place through cultural lore? Or is that where Zeri cut off?
Hold it.
Okay.
me?
Just heard
Yes.
the last of that.
So you can hear me now?
Yeah, we just heard. Can you hear me? That's it.
The weird thing is I can hear you all. I can hear you and see everything that you text. Also, Sirva, I'm texting you, so please can you get on your phone so you can tell people what to do?
Oh, okay.
I've been texting you this whole time and nothing. And yes, it's 20 gold total, not each.
Okay, I misheard. Never mind.
So we each get about 3 1/3.
Oh, 5 missed messages.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Barry, go ahead and roll cultural lore.
Okie dokie.
You know, so there's the Oasis, which is the center of the Dominion territory. It is where Quester is built. It is the most beautiful place on Qutis. But there are small pockets of oases hidden here and there. You've heard rumors of them, most of them spoken in legend, some of them in whispers, of things that live there, quiet, beautiful places that people sometimes go to. Some of them are even romantic in that people whose souls are tormented will go to these oases, never to be seen again, to live in peace and harmony forever. But they're spoken in a sort of mystical way, in the way that, like, say, Atlantis is spoken of in our world. They're very rare locations, and as you start traveling down, you're starting to wonder if this is maybe one of those places that have been mentioned.
All right.
As you guys travel down, the cart comes to a stop at the very edge of a small, clear blue pool. The clearest blue you've ever seen in a body of water. And as you all step down off of the sled and begin settling into the night, you see a small campfire on the other side of the pool of water. And you see an individual perched, sitting up against a rock. You can't quite make out the details, but it looks like they're maybe asleep or just enjoying the calmness of the area.
So what was down here? I missed part of that. Or who or what. I got the Oasis bit.
You see, so there's this a clear blue pool of water that perfectly reflects the stars and moons above. And then across that body of water, maybe 20 feet away from it, you see an individual. You see a campfire and an individual sitting on a rock next to it.
Yeah, I think this is probably a good time for a quick break. Because we're probably about to get introduced to a new character.
We're almost at the break point. I kind of want him to have something to do before the break, though.
Okay, that works for me.
So, Bramble, you have come across this oasis yourself. You've been wandering for a long time, and for a while you didn't think you'd find any civilization or anything beyond desert. But you stumbled across this oasis. You almost felt led toward this place. And when you got here, it was overwhelming in beauty and calm and stillness. And you, feeling safe for the first time in a while, prepped a camp, started to drift off to sleep before you heard the motion of what sounded like a sled trudging through sand come down and park next to you. And you see a group of individuals coming off of this sled, looking at the pool of water, and then taking notice of you. And you can see them all kind of staring, and you can hear whispers as they talk amongst themselves.
All right. The tall Asamir will, with a little hood and cloak that's draped over him, will hop out of the cart and wave to the figure on the shore. Greetings, my friend.
So Bramble, go ahead and we see. Jolie, are you there?
Maybe it's been so long that he's fallen asleep.
Hello? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes. Okay, there we go. Did you hear what I said before? Nope.
No, we haven't heard anything.
No.
Okay, well when the group walked up, I said, Jeffrey, guard. And then I said, hello there, friend or foe?
In that case, the tall Asamir will reply back, a friend, if you are a friend to the Empire.
Yes. Jeffrey, camel. Out walks Jeffrey, the camel.
You see now a second figure that you didn't see before come out from behind a rock. It looks camel-like, although you can see it has several spots, black spots on its yellow body. It takes up as it follows behind Bramble. You see it kind of not an aggressive stance, but definitely a protective stance near its master.
Wait, so when you say camel-like, what does that mean? It looks like a camel, like with spots?
It looks similar to the camel you've had with you.
Gorm looks at the camel.
What does a camel in a defensive stance look like?
Hilariously awesome.
Perfectly awesome, yes.
His knees are locked.
But instead of like a camel, he has sort of a camel face, but back behind his head, you see two long horns that stretch up into the air, and he shows his teeth. He bares his teeth a little, and you can see instead of like camel chomping teeth, some of them are kind of pointed, and he looks kind of menacing, much more menacing than the camels you have pulling your cart.
So it's spotted and has horns. That means it's like a giraffe.
It kind of looks like one, yeah.
Have
Okay,
you seen a giraffe before?
I mean, I'm talking mainly out of character.
Okay.
would I know anything about any of this with either natural or arcane lore?
Yeah, I'm curious if I know what it is either.
You can roll natural lore. Anyone who wants to. Bramble, go ahead and describe your own person. What do they see when they look at you?
Sure. When they look at me, they see a individual who's of average height, about 5 feet or so in the middle there. Average weight, a little over 100 pounds. And you can see my hair, but my hair over it is covered with, it looks like it's matted with just leaves, and they slightly glow, the leaves. And you can also see that I don't have extreme armor. I just have leather armor as well.
Gorm, Vinda, you have no idea what this creature is. He doesn't quite appear natural. You've seen natural creatures before. I mean, he doesn't look like he's unnatural, but there's something also about him that's not quite as though he was as though he's a creature you would normally see. You haven't really seen anything like him except, of course, the camels. You're not entirely sure what it is.
What about Leaf Boy?
Oh no.
That's a different check. That's gonna be a lore check. So those of you who'd like to, and I will leave this open to all of you, you can either roll a cultural lore or you can roll a natural lore to discover this. If you're not trained in either of those, you cannot roll.
What about historical lore?
I will let you, but the DC is going to be a lot higher.
To discover what?
What bramble is.
Oh,
That better be kind of.
Holy
Well,
cow.
2 people know.
I have 2 people who rolled natural and cultural lore at 12s, and Curiosity rolled a 20 for intelligence historical, and Winter rolled a 21.
Okay. Vinda and Ari, you don't know. He looks strange. But Curiosity and Winter, surprisingly, what you are seeing what fits a description that you've heard long ago. Curiosity, you've read this in books, although these are more recent historical books that you've read. And Winter, you just know from passing stories that you've heard your aunt and uncle talk about different creatures and races that they've encountered. He looks very much like a race called the Treekin from Estora, a sort of plant-like race that has just recently made an appearance. Not much is known about them, although they are known to somewhat travel. Most people they're just sort of an odd element of Astora that you'd only really hear about if you've ever ventured there or looked into that place. Although, and now noticing and comparing them with what you do see that there are some other elements to his visage that are not quite. They're a little bit more. They're not quite Treekin. He looks like there's a few more features in his face that are not quite what you would imagine a Treekin would be. So there's definitely something else to him.
So wait, so Ari said we're friends if you're friends of the Empire. Did he say anything after that? I forgot.
He said I
He
am.
said, yeah.
Meanwhile, Jeffrey goes to eat some grass.
Okay, I will fly over and meet him and say, "Hello, I am Curiosity."
Hello, Curiosity. I am Bramble.
Vinda will hover a bit more cautiously and shyly behind.
And I will just wave, noticing that there's some timidness there.
Bramble.
Hi.
You see small Vinda, a small 6-inch fairy comes flying over by Curiosity, and you do recognize her as a fairy, as you've seen several of those within your own home.
Seeing Vinda, I do smile, as it reminds me of home.
Pardon the question, but are you a Treekin?
Yes, my friend, I am.
Oh, I've never met one in real life before. The books that I have left out the fact that your hair seems to be glowing.
You can't believe everything you read in the book, but yes, it tends to be left out.
Well, that is quite interesting. As you can see, my own skin also glows.
Yeah, and you can see his body seems without like your own. It radiates with a sort of almost like a glow stick glow that comes out to a very large distance in an area around him. Any part that his skin is showing, that is.
Should we also probably describe what we look like?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so I am like 6 feet tall and lanky, and I have like pale translucent skin that bioluminesces, and it's covered in like elaborate black tattoos, and I have large black, like fluffy, downy looking wings with short brown hair and pointed ears. And then I have cat-like eyes that like reflect rainbow colors in dim light, and I'm just wearing like gray. Actually, no, I'm wearing leather armor now, not my traveling cloak. And I also have a silver manacle on my right wrist that has elaborate designs on it that look sort of similar to my tattoos.
Have you all traveled far?
We are traveling from Zagahta.
Would I know where Zagahta is?
Not quite, as it's the town you've been trying to find. You know it's around here somewhere, but you haven't had much luck in navigating it. But you do know that it's the most prominent trade town in the Seadale region, which is where you're in.
Zagahta, that sounds familiar, but I have not visited yet. My east and west is mixed up right now.
Are you lost?
Well, that is a good question. I'm in a forest, so I feel at ease, but somehow I don't know where to set my foot tomorrow. So I guess maybe I am?
Curiosity frowns in confusion. Maybe?
What?
I'm sorry. Sometimes I get lost in my words. I guess I am. I have no map.
That seems like a tricky way to travel around. Although, I don't personally carry a map with me. Others do. We're on our way back to Zagahta if you'd like to join us and get your bearings.
I would. Yes. Very much so. As long as Jeffrey can come.
Jeffrey is this camel thing?
That is correct. There is a long story on how we met.
Ooh, I'd like to hear it.
Well, you all may sit by the fire and I can tell it to you if you wish.
I love a good story. Dear Bramble, by the way, Eretha's Dayspell. Pleasure to meet you.
And pleasure, my friend.
And before you is a 7 foot 10 inch tall Osamir, kind of elf, who's wearing brown and red leathers and has a kind of a pale white cloak hood combo that covers his blonde hair and his fairly lengthy ears as well.
You are a tall one, my friend.
Well, we Asama tend to be on the taller side.
Are we all quite comfortable? And I will go ahead and tell you the story. I will try to make it as short as possible.
Oh, take your time. Let me get adjusted real quick, and Ari will sit down and pull out his lute, and we'll try to strum along with the story.
All right, Bramble, as you begin to talk, you hear the soothing tones of Eretheus' lute. He's actually quite skilled, and you find it's easier to tell the story listening to just this slight hum of his strokes.
I rescued Jeffrey one day from an evil mage who created him. I saw the mage was mistreating him outside of his own home. He was trying to beat him into submission, both mentally and physically. I noticed Jeffrey was chained, and Haltazar was whipping him. Haltazar was saying, "I created you for war," and that Jeffrey was going to listen to him, to every command, or he would be killed. As soon as Haltazar left the room, I unchained Jeffrey. During this time, Haltazar came back in, but he did not see that Jeffrey was no longer chained. Quickly, Haltazar tried to do a freezing spell, but the spell backfired and turned back and froze him. At this, Jeffrey made a blasting charge at Haltazar, as to say, "You will never own me." At this, I could see that he was no longer left for this world. I then knocked an arrow, and it was true and straight. The shot hit, and he crumpled to the floor. Jeffrey and I spent a week learning to communicate in a forest miles away. I am not his owner, but his companion, who he feels a life debt to. He is a camel leopard, half camel, half leopard. He has graciously agreed to carry my equipment and let me ride him. And from this day forward, we have never heard from the mage or had any altercations in regarding this issue. And that is the story.
Well, it sounds like Jeffrey is lucky that you came along and rescued him.
I'm lucky as well, as I was lost, and I had then found a mission to free him, and he has been my companion and my friend, and kept me safe thus far.
At that, you hear a voice off in the distance say, "Indeed, it does sound like you were quite lucky to find him." And you all turn to see a woman in the water. And that's where we'll take our break.
Getting shot in the face with arrows.
What?
Yes, he's grabbing his bow. She's getting shot.
Oh boy.
Did you just call yourself Curiosity?
Yes.
See, more proof. More proof. There's only
I mean,
one
Ari
of them.
called me Harmony before.
We're the same person. It's clear.
You see,
Yeah.
Jody, we have come to the conclusion that Kylar and Kyrath are but one person.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing theory that they are both one and the same.
This is just more proof.
10-minute break starting now. If you don't take it now, it's going to go.
Yep. Alright, be right back.